Hello, everyone, and welcome to the June 2024 edition of Venza's Hospitality Webinar Series. My name's Sean Shields, and I'm the brand ambassador here at Venza. I'll be your host today for this quarter's information-packed 30-minute conversation where we leverage the knowledge of our in-house experts and scan the threat landscape to bring you the most relevant and important data protection for hospitality. Today's topic, beyond checking the boxes, cultivating a security culture, we'll explore the best practices that go beyond just maintaining regulatory compliance, gaining insight from our industry experts on how you can foster a truly security conscious culture within your organization. We'll also be sharing some of the latest product developments here at Venza that can help you and your teams move forward with a more robust security posture. To kick things off, I'd like to introduce Charles Smart, Venza's security manager. For 3 years, Charles has worked alongside our clients to bring them into compliance with key payment card regulations like PCI DSS and important data privacy rules like EPR and CPRA. For our PCI-focused clients, Charles often assists them in creation of their self-assessment questionnaire, or SAQ, for their properties. The SAQ used to document self-assessment results from an organization's PCI DSS assessment. Questions are used by businesses to assess and eventually attest to their compliance. Because it must be prepared annually, we have seen that there can be a tendency for organizations to simply focus on security processes only once per year. Contrary to this, however, in our meetings at Venza, we often hear Charles say that security is not a project, it's an ongoing process. Charles, welcome. And could you explain what you mean by that to our audience?
Absolutely, Sean, and thank you for the introduction. So always on, as you mentioned, through our meetings, right? We always try to focus on compliance, achieving compliance. Let's be compliant. Let's comply with this. Let's comply with that. But the thing is that in that detail, security as a whole is not a project. It's not does not have a start and ending process. It's an ongoing process. So again, security as an ongoing process, we always try to thrive into and delve into our customers that to approach security throughout the business as usual approach. It also needs to be able to adjust to the level of effort of the specific challenges of the entity merchant while establishing again a business as usual process. Again, it's kind of a balancing act between the organizational risk appetite versus the data that they are managing and any of their specific constraints in order to be secure and then have a compliance posture by it. Usually on Venza, we try to use the best, one of the more of the best IT cybersecurity frameworks. We use definitely PCI DSS for the credit card environment from our properties. We use GDPR for privacy. We also use CIS benchmark as part of the establishing that preliminary level of security efforts. But at the end of the day, regardless of the effort, we need to maintain that security across the whole operation, not only on the IT side of things, but also on the physical realm as part of the physical security access and throughout the overall infrastructure of our business. Again, it is important that even if we follow up to the letter one of these best industries frameworks to the letter, we could eventually have potential risk. Again, it's important to mark out and to instill to our audience that being compliant is not the same as being secure. Now, on the flip side to the coin, it's that being secure could lead us to a potential compliance, to a potential compliant posture, good posture that is. So again, keep in mind that compliancy or achieving compliance is basically doing the bare minimum based on all the best practices throughout those frameworks. Again, why do we want to stop by doing only the bare minimum? Again, if you're using, for example, vulnerability scans, using antivirus software, those are basically bare minimums. We need to step up into our game in order to have a more resilient, more secure security posture at the end of the day. Again, one of the things is that you must know our digital environment in order to make it secure. Again, we cannot protect what we don't know. So if we are just checking boxes, again, trying to establish and achieving that compliance, we may read a vulnerability result without understanding. We might have a pen test report that, again, it just says that, yeah, we are passing there's no critical vulnerabilities. But again, if we don't know what we are trying to protect, we don't know which security controls we might need to use in order to protect that asset. Our asset, that being our data, our systems, our critical infrastructure, in order for us to operate accordingly to our business standards. Again, the idea is to not only know, but also have the visibility throughout our environment in order so we can gauge out which are the requirements, which are the challenges in order to implement those security controls throughout our whole environment. Now, let's in order for us to do that, we here at Venza, we have devised kind of certain recommendations, again, very high level recommendation that we need to then adjust basically depending on our infrastructure. The first one, our first recommendation will be that we need to protect our most sensitive and lucrative data above anything else. Here at Venza, we try to comprehend this in terms of achieving an onion perspective, in which by establishing multiple security layers upon our main core that will be the center of that onion. And again, it's not that we are just going to protect everything above all the infrastructure, but again, we need to identify our critical layer, our core of that portion of the onion, and establish multiple security boundaries or security controls as data as we move on onto that center core. Again, that doesn't mean that information outside that core is not being protected, but it means that it's being protected differently based on the security, based on the challenges, based on the type of data. Again, it's that establishing that very delicate balance between what do we want to protect versus how do we protect it against any threat actors. Another recommendation will be that we need to know which data are we sharing with third-party vendors or service providers. So how and why are we sharing that data? It could be that we run a pretty small shop and our IT services are being delegated to an external party. We can have we are seeing more and more cloud environments. Again, where do we have that data? How are that service provider? How are we trusting it, that service provider, into that data that they are being shared by us to us throughout our business relation? That data is completely secure. That is, how can we establish a proper due diligence? Again, we have the frameworks, but are they compliant, just checking boxes and just to provide and gather our business, or they are in fact proving themselves that they are secure by then performing certain tests, like again attestation of compliance if we go with PCI, annual or biannual reviews in terms of their security level, and so forth. So again, it's establishing that security cadence with our vendors, with our service provider, in order for everybody within that environment to be secured. Also, another recommendation will be to promote a security awareness throughout the organization. Again, there is so much that our IT teams and technology departments can do to maintain that digital infrastructure safe and sound from external auditors, for external threat actors. Let's keep in mind that we need to protect everything. If the threat actors only need a small crack within those level of boundaries in order to gain access to our environment. Again, we can have the best technical controls, the best software, everything top notch, and still, if we have immature security awareness program within our personnel, the weakest, always the chain breaks throughout the weakest link. Unfortunately, we cannot patch our users like the same way we do with systems and infrastructure and technology. The only thing that we can instill onto them is training. How can we train them? We can develop phishing simulation. We can develop ransomware tabletop exercises. So everybody gets to know how to respond, how to identify, and how to be aware of those challenges that are out there. Back to you, Sean.
Thanks so much for that incredible insight, Charles. Now, to expand further on how to cultivate your security awareness culture, we are pleased to welcome Laura Jane Hatcher. LJ recently joined our product team as technical communicator after previously working at Venza as a customer success coach. With her background, both in communication and hospitality, she has a unique perspective on fostering a more cyber-aware mentality organization-wide. Hello, LJ, and welcome to your first webinar.
Hi, Sean. I'm thrilled to be here today to discuss fostering a security culture in the hospitality environment. Being from the hospitality industry myself, I know the daunting amount of regulatory boxes that have to be checked to operate, like brand standards, local and state ordinances. The list can be very overwhelming. Security awareness training, it does check a box for regulatory compliance with PCI DSS, but as Charles mentioned, compliance does not necessarily mean security. Cybercrimes are increasing at an alarming rate, with numbers showing that an estimated 90% of those crimes begin with a social engineering attack. If you're not familiar with the term, social engineering essentially uses psychological techniques such as urgency, impersonation, these kinds of things against the person to have them willingly divulge information. It commonly takes the form of phishing emails, but if you've been reading our recent Venza articles, Venza Echo articles, you'll note that we've been tracking a dramatic increase in phishing or social engineering by phone, striking hoteliers in particular. Just as hospitality has invested in fortifying its digital firewall, it's now more important than ever to invest in its human firewall. This means creating a culture where the tenets of basic data security are as common as, say, not leaving the keys to your cash drawer unattended. Essentially, it requires the best practices for data security to be common sense for all employees in your organization. So today, I'll be giving a brief overview of those 4 key tenets we've kind of put together for you and your teams to foster a security culture through your company. The first being creating an organizational dialogue or campaign of cybersecurity awareness, ensuring everyone is aware but not scared of the growing threats. 2, training and awareness, a rigorous training program delivered at least once a year. 3, metrics, or ways in which to gauge potential vulnerabilities within your human firewall. And then finally, privacy by design, an alignment of existing policies and procedures to data security best practices. So let's take a deep dive and to better understand how to cultivate a security-driven culture overall. So firstly, if you're attending this webinar, you'll likely have a solid grasp of the cybersecurity threats that are already facing hospitality. However, it's important you don't make that same assumption for your organizational counterpart. According to Pew Research numbers from 2023, many of the most fundamental aspects of digital security are not readily known to the general public, with less than half of respondents to their survey unaware of what multi-factor authentication is, which is a mainstay of current cybersecurity practices. It is crucial to understand that not all people have that same foundational level of digital awareness as you. To make a practice common, you must provide the context and the stakes. Now, how do you do this? An open dialogue. And for this, your audience matters. That is why we recommend a tiered approach that starts with the stakeholders and executives at your company. Ensure you share with them the true risks and threats facing hospitality. Give them the facts, numbers, and statistics, and they will speak for themselves. With your stakeholders on board, you can now move a concentrated communication effort towards the hotel properties. Empower your regional directors and your general managers alike with knowledge of the threats facing them in forms that are already established, like monthly operational meetings. Keep the dialogue going and open, and give them the tools to bring this to their frontline teams. The gravity of what's at stake will trickle down. And again, the most important thing to remember is that the conversation is taking place in the first place, fueling awareness organization-wide, allowing the best practices from formal education to grow. For the second tenet, a structured security awareness training program should be rolled out at least annually to all employees at your organization. It should be included in every new hire's onboarding. Yearly information security is one of the 12 requirements for PCI DSS compliance, but there is no formal description as to what it should entail. If your organization is looking to go above checking boxes, you should have training content that is tailored to the specifics of your industry. As you know, hospitality is a business unlike any other. Providing your teams with general information security training just isn't sufficient enough to educate them against the unique threats that prey on hoteliers in particular. Additionally, cyber threats can vary vastly based on a person's job role. That's why a structured learning setup tailored to the employee's responsibility is essential. Your corporate office may require more stringent education regarding phishing emails and managing data shared with third-party vendors, whereas a server at a hotel restaurant might benefit from learning about social engineering techniques. Beyond that, we recommend all employees are included in the training efforts. While a housekeeper may not interact directly with credit card data, they can and are still the target of on-site social engineering attempts, such as tailgating and impersonation. They are also frequently the employees that spend the most time inside guest rooms. This makes them vital defenders against device tampering attempts, such as juice jacking, which sees USB charging stations manipulated to transfer malware or steal data from the next device that plugs into it. Finally, we recommend you dedicate a full month to the Cybersecurity Awareness Education Initiative, during which time the training is delivered. Not only does this promote the best practices all month long, it also adds a layer of accountability with a clear due date for when training must be completed. Now, while formal training may have a clear start and end date, security does not. To ensure data security practices are followed year-round, you should identify some measurable metrics to track this, which is our third tenet. It can be difficult to track training retention, but there are some ways that you can identify weak links in your human firewall. As part of its training program, Venza offers phishing campaigns, which are simulated email attacks distributed to specific employees. Once complete, you receive a report of their actions, the actions each employee took during the simulation, allowing you to identify employees that are vulnerable to this kind of attack. Our new Explore program in particular offers even more social engineering simulations commonly used against hoteliers, including phishing and in-person manipulation. Tools like these can aid you in identifying individuals who may be at risk so remediation can occur. Finally, to ensure security is foundationally interwoven into the bottom line of your organization, there should be a full policy review and full policy and procedural review and revision, something we refer to as policy by design. This would entail a full assessment of procedures, checklists, and processes that all employees follow to confirm they are aligned with data security best practices. While this may seem like a significant undertaking, keep in mind that regular compliance requires at least some of this effort already. Procedures such as maintaining server room logs may not be common, but are already a requirement for PCI DSS compliance. For general organizational policies, Venza maintains a comprehensive policy template library that can provide you and your teams with customizable sample policies and procedures that can be tailored to your company or used as is. To update property-specific processes, rely on your general managers to update employee checklists with procedures more aligned to data security. For example, add USB port inspection to the guest rooms for the housekeeping cleaning checklist. Include a box to check, signifying they have logged out and locked their computer before they step away for a break or leave for the day. These small little additions can make a monumental impact on fostering that security mindset. These 4 tenets that I just discussed are the foundations for fostering a more secure culture within your organization. As Charles mentioned, by developing and enforcing these data security processes across your company, you are not only compliant, but also secure. Back to you, Sean.
Thanks, LJ. Up next, we'll get an insider's perspective on going above compliance to promote a security culture organization-wide. For that, I had the privilege of interviewing Rocky Gupta, Vice President of Information Technology at Atrium Hospitality. The Atrium portfolio consists of 70-plus hotels of differing brands and sizes, which provides a unique security challenge. However, in partnership with Venza, Rocky has spearheaded efforts there to further build the security culture of Atrium teams. Hi, everyone. Sean Shields, brand ambassador here at Venza. We are talking today with Rocky Gupta. He is the Vice President of Information Technology at Atrium Hospitality. How you doing, Rocky?
I'm good, Sean. How are you doing today?
Doing great. People want to get the answer to these questions. We're going to get right into it here. Here's our first one. How do you and your teams work to inspire a more security-aware culture at all levels within Atrium Hospitality? And do you have a specific method or tools that you use to accomplish that?
Yeah, I mean, security, as you know, it's not a one and done thing. I mean, you've got to stay on top of it. It's got to be top of mind all the time, especially the times we live in today. So we use multiple methods. You know, obviously we have an LMS system where we've got our training videos and our training material, and each employee is required when they get hired to complete the training within 30 days. And then after that, every employee at Atrium has to recertify every year.
Okay.
We also use certain other methods, like I put out a publication every quarter called Tech Bites. It's a technology newsletter. And then once a quarter, I host a all-company technology call called Tech Talks. And one of the features in each one of those is about security. It could be about email security, it could be about digital cleansing, could be about ransomware, better security practice. But, we do that to make sure security stays top of mind with everybody.
Great. Next question, Rocky. Are there instances where you have seen a team focus more on compliance rather than security? And what are some ways that organizations may over-focus on checking boxes?
Sure, and that's obviously a problem because when you're running a hotel, having to take a class is the last thing on your mind. Taking care of guests should be and is the priority for most of hotel employees. So that's why I believe security is, I believe in the CI/CD model, continuous improvement, continuous development. So it's got to stay on top of mind, and it has to come from the top down. And we're very lucky that our executive committee is very committed to having a security protocol or a security mindset. Certainly given the recent, you've heard with Omni Hotels, you've heard with MGMs, stuff that's happened. And we make sure our employees are aware of what's happening in the marketplace. So security just doesn't become checking the box. So we make sure we monitor the properties of how many people have done training. And then every once in a while, when I visit the properties, I will sit down with the property people and say, hey, you know what? Let's go over some of these security protocols. Let's see how you answer. Why is there, let's go into your office and see, do you have a clean desk policy or not? Or do you have somebody's, check or credit card number sitting on top of your desk? So,
Right.
We follow up on a regular basis. We have VPOs, Vice President of Operations, who manage regions, and, they do the same thing when they go to the properties. So we kind of, focus on a CI/CD model, continuous improvement, continuous development. So it says top of mind for everybody.
In speaking towards promoting a more security conscious culture, have you tried roundtable discussions with your stakeholders or with your frontline team members?
Yes, so we do that as part of our quarterly calls with the properties. And not only that, we actually every year, we actually do a tabletop exercise for security, where we actually simulate a breach and we simulate a ransomware attack. And I get some GMs and some corporate folk. So everybody gets involved, where we actually bring them into the fold and give them the backstory. So they pretend that they've actually been breached. And the breach has spread from one property to the next because somebody sent an email with, and so we actually do a 3-hour tabletop exercise every year. And then we publish the results and our findings and recommendations based on that tabletop exercise. That's a regular feature for us. We do that once a year, every year.
Rocky, thank you so much for sharing with us today. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time, I'm sure. And I'll see you soon at High Tech booth 838. Again, that was Rocky Gupta, Vice President of IT for Atrium Hospitality. Next up, we're going to get some Venza news and updates from our new Product and Development Director, Casey Harrigan. Hey, Casey.
Hey, Sean, how you doing today?
Good.
Good. Thanks for having me here. The product team at Venza has been busy this quarter working to bring you innovative and engaging new products to help protect your and your guests' data. We have some exciting news about new products and upcoming events that I'm thrilled to share with you all today. First, we're excited to announce our upcoming attendance at this year's High Tech Show in Charlotte, North Carolina. Join us on 24 to 27 June for a dynamic experience where you can expect more insights and less worry about the digital threats facing your business. Drop by booth number 838 for one-on-one consultations, live demonstrations of our products and platforms, and a variety of interactive fun-filled events. We'll be joined on site by CyberTech MSSP, a leading managed security services provider, making our booth the place to address your security challenges and mitigate your risks. We're very much looking forward to this year's High Tech, and we hope that we'll see you there. Related to High Tech, we're pleased to announce our Explore Pizza Party contest. To celebrate the release of our latest on-site security testing program, Explore, Venza will be hosting a live drawing for qualifying hotel management companies to win a free pizza party for the property of their choosing. On top of this, the winning location will receive a sneak peek of Explore, which includes a free vishing simulation and an on-site social engineering audit. To qualify, hotel management companies must achieve and maintain a training completion percentage of 80% or higher between the dates of 13 May and 17 June and complete their customer satisfaction survey. We'll be drawing the winners live from the High Tech floor on 25 June and sharing the results later in the day on LinkedIn. For more information about this opportunity, connect with your customer success coach or email us directly at success@venzagroup.com. The last item I wanted to highlight is a recent product development. We've released a range of new solutions, tools, and resources this quarter, which are detailed in full on the product roadmap on the Venza website. And among these, one that we're very excited about is what we're calling Rocky's Corner, a new addition to our suite of security awareness training tools. In our experience, and as we've discussed here today, we've learned that training is never a one-shot exercise. It cannot be limited only to formal courses that are delivered once a year. To build a lasting, deep cultural foundation of security awareness, the learning experience must be ongoing, supplemented by a variety of experiences that are delivered over time. To support this, we've created Rocky's Corner email templates and made them available to our clients to distribute within their organizations. Covering important topics like phishing, vishing, and impersonation, and reiterating the fundamentals of data protection, these quick, concise emails are a great way to reinforce your Venza program internally and keep security at the top of your mind year-round. This quarter, we've expanded the library by adding several new templates based on recent threats like voice security and AI impersonation, as well as adding role-based templates for the front desk, housekeeping, food and beverage, and more. And even better, they're now available in Spanish and German. To get access, they can be downloaded directly from our newly improved Peak Resource Manager, or you can contact your customer success coach. That's all from product for now. Back to you, Sean.
Thanks so much, Casey. That wraps up this edition of the Hospitality Webinar Series. Thank you all for attending and joining us today. As a reminder, if you have any questions regarding any of the items we've discussed here today, Venza is always here to help. Feel free to reach out to your security analyst at securityanalyst@venzagroup.com or customer success coach at success@venzagroup.com at any time to receive expert. Reminder, today's event is the second of our four-part hospitality webinar series for 2024. If you've benefited from what you've learned today, I encourage you to consider registering for our upcoming webinars. The next event will be on Wednesday, the 4th of September, and focus on the topic of AI changing the cybersecurity game. We'll be diving into the evolving role of AI and how it's taken on in the hospitality industry, gaining insights on the latest developments and trends, along with updates on Venza's newest offerings. Registration for this webinar, along with future events on social engineering, are now on the Venza website, venzagroup.com. If you enjoyed the information you heard today, consider subscribing to the Venza Echo. You'll receive a free monthly email digest that delivers critical information about key industry news, along with product and other company updates from Venza. You can find the registration link at the bottom of any weekly feature of the Echo on the Venza LinkedIn page or by contacting your customer success coach. If you're interested in adding products to your existing contract, including the Explore program referenced today, you could get started by emailing bettervisibility@venzagroup.com. A Venza representative will be in touch with you to discuss our unique industry-leading solutions for better defense. That's all for now. Until next time, stay secure.